everyone, it's your digital influencer as usual. What an awesome opportunity to be here again with you. And I do not take it for granted. Follow me on Instagram and catch up the full length content on YouTube. Today on the content, we're going to be looking at the words called relational and performance. Why am I going to be speaking about these two words today? And you know, if you've been part of my journey from the onset, you will know that a lot of the examples I cite during the conversations are normally experiences I have had personally. And these personal experiences have led me to wanting to shoot this video called Relational and Performance. In a workplace, or if you are an entrepreneur, a 9-to-5, this content is solely targeted to both audiences, and I feel that, you know, it will have one or two things that you can pick out from the content. A 9-to-5 has, you know, you come into an organization, you have a boss, a manager, someone you report to directly or indirectly. Now, in the workplace, there are two parameters that are used to, you know, grade an individual in terms of how well that individual is fitting into the system, or how much value that individual will bring to the table. And these two parameters used are performance and relational. A lot of us are already accustomed to the performance angle, but why am I spending time? I want us to also, you know, shed a bit of light on the relational aspect and how, you know, at certain points in your career, you're going to want to take, you know, some balance of maybe a 60% relational and a 40% performance. Or some way you have to find a way to switch it up. The reason behind all this is simply this. Performance have set KPIs to them. They are tasked, how much time it took to complete the task, your ability to think outside the box, your ability to save costs because you were able to tackle that task at hand, you know, efficiently and in a very professional way. That's fine. And I mean, that's what we are truly paid for as, you know, 9-to-5ers, or if you're an entrepreneur that owns a business, I mean, this is why you're paying your staffs. Now, how does that zone into the fields of your value? Now, if you are one who believes that performance should be the only strategy to employ in any of these two spectrums, as you know, I've mentioned, then there's a bit of, you know, there's a challenge there. And I'll tell you what would be the outcomes of going, you know, the performance route against the relational. If you're going to go the performance route, two outcomes: you will, you know, you will always get in the task on time, you always do as you're told, really. But in terms of, you know, moving in that organization, in terms of getting positions, in you know, aspiring to be more, then you're going to get to a point where you get stuck. Now, when you get to that point where you get stuck, because you have not employed the relational strategy, right, then you're literally just going to remain there. And what would then happen is that you continue to dwindle until you're out of that system, or you're retired by force or something in that nature. Now, if you did employ, you know, what you're paid for, which is obviously your performance angle, and you added that relational boss to it, then it's a whole different spectrum. Now, what is this relational, you know, strategy that I'm speaking about? It's basically your ability to be able to, you know, manage stakeholders, right? And I'll tell you, I'll double click on that. Managing stakeholders basically means that you already have aligned stakeholders that come with your role, your line of business, or whatever department you belong to. But your ability to stretch into managing other stakeholders that correspond or have to interact with your department is very critical. And that would always only set you aside from a professional individual who just, you know, does what he's told to do, probably does it very well, or has that challenge because there is no relational element to his, you know, to his overall strategy. What am I saying to us today? If you're one in an organization, or you own a business, or you're someone who's collaborating with other individuals to be able to, you know, get out some form of an outcome, then a relational strategy is very critical. You're going to want to form relationships with other key stakeholders in that mix. You're going to want to be, you know, relational. Basically, you're going to, you know, that's creating that personal interaction with other key stakeholders in that entity that you find yourself playing in. So digital influencer, this is really critical, and I really feel that it's important. We've got that performance index and we've also got the relational, but a good mix of the both of them will continue to see you move in accordance with success. Don't be a performance related individual, because like I said, you will get to a point and it will just not be all about the performance. You will need to know somebody who knows somebody who can do something that you yourself cannot do in a performance related conversation. Be relational and still put that performance into it, and you will see and watch yourself become all you have been created to be. So digital influencer, let's be all we have been created to be. Cheers.